I've had two very different experiences with half marathons. The first half marathon I ran was one of the worst days of my life. It was a mess. You know how people say they hit that wall when they run? I hit that wall at about mile 1. I was exhausted. I ended up walking 3 or 4 miles. At the end of the day, I couldn't even move. I just laid in bed. I couldn't drive home from the event. I was a mess. I felt sore on every part of my body. Why? Because I didn't train. I decided to try to run it because my wife and her friend thought I couldn't run it. So I ran on spite mostly. I didn't train. I didn't come up with any plan. I just ran out of frustration and said, I'll show them. I'll run this race. And I was horrible. It was the worst day. The second half marathon I ran was awesome. It was so fun. It was such a good day. It was one of the best days of my life. Why? Because I set some goals. I approached it and set some goals the smart way. I came up with a strategy. I read a lot about half marathons. I downloaded a training plan, and day by day, week by week, I got ready for that big event. You want to write a book. You want to go to college. You want to join the military. You've got this big goal. And you need to break it down into smaller goals, into smaller ideas that you can work on. And as you do that, you've got to keep a few things in mind. Sometimes it's tempting to just focus on one area of our life and ignore all the others. But if you really want your goals to work, if you really want your life to work, if you really want success, you've got to make sure that in each part of your life, you have some goals. So in your career side, maybe you want to get an after-school job. Maybe you want to intern one summer. Maybe you want to be smart about which classes you take at school for college down the road. Think about your career. What are your career goals? Think about your financial goals. How are you going to pay for college? How are you going to pay for books and all the things that come in an average semester? How do you need to be smart with your money now so that later you'll have more of it to spend? Maybe you want to go to Europe when you're in college. Maybe you want to go abroad for a whole semester. How will you pay for that? What are your spiritual goals? I mean, maybe that's something you need to focus on. Maybe you need to think about joining a church or a temple or wherever you get spiritual nourishment, plugging back into that. What are your physical goals? Maybe like me, you want to run a race. Maybe you want to do something different. Maybe you want to join a team. Maybe you want to get a bike and travel around the country. What are some physical goals? Maybe you just need more sleep. You know, the average person needs 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Maybe one of your goals is nap more. Can you imagine that goal? What are your educational goals? What's an area of school that you need to focus on more? What's a class you want to take? What's a club you want to join? What are your family goals? I mean, maybe you want to make sure that when you leave for college someday or when you leave the house that you've got a strong relationship with your dad or your mom. And right now you need to focus on that. What are your social goals? I mean, do you want to have more friends or deeper relationships? Do you want to join an activity or a club and become friends with other people? In each area of your life, start to look for that so that you're one consistent person, one whole person that has goals in each section. So how do you set some goals? How do you make sure that they're not so difficult? Well, the first thing is they have to be measurable. You have to be able to list them and check them off so that you can mark your progress. So for instance, if I said that, you know what, I want to be more grateful. I think being entitled is a great way to wreck your job and your relationship. So I want to be more grateful this year. I would need to measure that. And the way I might do it is say, okay, I want to write so many thank you notes that I empty the box. And so what I'd do is I'd get a box of thank you notes and I'd count the notes and I'd say, okay, there's 52 notes. I need to write one thank you note every week. And then I'd make a list and I'd check it off one by one. Your goals also have to be specific. You can't say, this year I want to be healthy. No, you have to say, this year I'm not going to eat after 7 o'clock, or I'm not going to eat fried food, or I'm not going to do these things, or I am going to do these other things. You've got to be specific. Your goals also have to have time limits. If they go on and on with no end in sight, you'll get discouraged. So you need to say, this month I'm doing this, or by this date I will have accomplished this. They also have to be your goals. They can't be somebody else's goals. You can't spend your life chasing your mom's goals. You can't spend your life chasing somebody else's goals. You have to make sure that they are unique and individual to your life. And they also have to be written down. You can't just keep them up in here or even in here. You've got to write them down on a piece of paper. Write down your goals. A lot of people write theirs on Post-it notes, and they put them up on the mirror so that every day, every morning they get up, they can see that. And they can say, okay, that's what I'm going to accomplish. And it also helps if you'll have some accountability. I mean, you need some people in your life that are holding you accountable. That's why it's so much easier to work out with a partner. You'll go to the gym more often, work harder, and be more dedicated if you have a workout buddy. And the same holds true on every part of your life. You've also got to eliminate distractions. A lot of us have the best intentions. We know what we want to do. We know how to do it. We have a list of goals, and then we don't do it. Why don't we do it? Because we get distracted. I mean, that's why the average American watches over 30 hours of TV every week. And that's nobody's goal, right? I mean, nobody's dream is, I want to watch 30 hours of TV this year, every week. That's my goal. That's my dream. My daddy was a TV man. My daddy's daddy was a TV man. That's my goal. But we kind of just stumble into that, don't we? We get distracted. So maybe in your life, you need to look at your goals and say, what are the distractions I need to eliminate? And maybe you need to turn off your phone when you work on a goal, or turn off the TV, or not go to a loud coffee shop. Maybe you need to focus on your goals at the library and eliminate some of those distractions. Because the truth is, if you want to run a really good half marathon, if you want to get into that college you've always wanted to go to, if you want to accomplish something big, you've got to start with something small, and you've got to start with very specific, measurable goals. That's how you change your life.
Graduate college. I'm going to a 4-year college, and also get my master's degree.
Some of my personal goals are mainly to be successful, not fully, I want to be rich and have a lot of money, but at least be able to afford a good home, be able to take care of bills and food financially, because I know me and my family have struggled a lot throughout our life with dealing with money. So that's not something that I want to continue on in my life.
I want to go to college and be a detective.
I would like to continue my music career with cello, and I do video work too, so I'd like to continue that, and also possibly teaching.
To go to college and graduate at least.
My personal goals are to make it through college, get it paid for, and go on to medical school and become a pediatrician.
Finish high school, then start college.
Probably to get to college, and of course my most important one, getting to Hawaii, because I want to live there one day.
I want to go to college and go into graphics and arts and design.
I guess graduate high school and then move on to the Army.
I'm getting everything figured out for college, because right now just thinking about which ones I should go to, figuring out the pay for a future job, getting everything planned, just getting ready.
Well, after I graduate high school, I want to go to college and I want to become a dental hygienist.
Honestly, be the first one out of my family to go to college.